Mouse tails are much easier to get down, as you'll see in a minute. Kind of works out because just remove the tail and then use the mouse to feed something bigger that actually eats those. I don't like them because they're not exactly packed full of nutrition. But until these guys get up to size, I'm kind of stuck with what I got. This pinky will just go to something else, I guess. This other one I can't use, it'll just be flushed. So I just let these mouse tails warm up briefly. In the meantime, I will get this girl back out and get her pinned again. As much as I don't want to. Come on, you. And oddly enough, these guys really don't strike much, you know, when handling, but like if I put a mouse in front of them, they freaking go crazy and snap at it and gape at it and really put on a show. Pretty typical Boiga, gaping, all that good stuff, making a big deal out of nothing. Pivot. Alright, so we got them. Mouse tails thaw out pretty quick. I'm going to give her the smaller of the two. See if I can do this in good light. And you got to get them to open up. Like that. And we literally rifle it down the throat. Gently. Want to make sure it's wet. That way it'll slide down easier. And once it's at about the halfway point, if not a little further, I leave them to do it on their own. Sometimes they'll even do it on their own once it starts going down. So about here, like once it's in, they pretty much have to finish it on their own. I'm going to try and get the rest of this shed off her tail. Trying to be very delicate. Because I'm sure just like chondros, their vertebrae and bones at this size are probably pretty delicate. I would imagine. I'm having a hell of a time getting this off. We are not happy. We would love to just chew on me like crazy. Right? It's really important to get this stuck shed off the tip of the tail before it becomes necrotic, because then the tip of the tail will eventually just fall off. Because the circulation gets cut off. Basically that stuck shed becomes a tourniquet of sorts, and this is with really any snake. But this dead skin just cuts off the circulation to the rest of the tail, and they end up losing the tip of it. Which some, if it's like the very tip, it's nothing life-threatening. It's obviously something you don't want to happen. But this girl, I've kind of been trying to keep her a little on the moisture side and see if it would come off on its own, and it hasn't. So now I'm just going to take the time to work on rubbing it off. And we're getting there. It's almost off, dude. And you can go back to being a freak. Like I said, this species in particular, most Boiga, you keep them on the pretty humid side. I usually hose these guys down, let them dry out completely, you know, overnight or the next night or whatever, and then I'll hose them down again. Come on. The last little bit just ain't budging. Get my hand wet again. I've always wondered if it bothers them, like if it itches or if it, I don't know, if it's just if it's uncomfortable for them to have this shed stuck on here like this. Look, I'm sorry, alright? This has to come off. Last little bit. We're almost there. We are not happy. We are trying to escape my clutches. I think I might have it all. Nope. Now I try to keep this to a minimum. Unfortunately, these guys aren't eating pinkies again on their own. They were when they were with the breeder, and they've since just reverted back to having to be force-fed, which I was told would probably happen. And now I'm just pretty much playing the waiting game as far as getting them to take on their own again. And I legitimately can't tell if that's off all the way or not. Use a jeweler's loop. I guess so. Looks like it's all gone. Alright, dude. This is the female. I'll finish that.